Welcome to miniatures.de, your military miniatures magazine. In this issue, we are going to review Airfix 1:76 scale US Marines, which are not actually Marines, and then convert them to infantry wearing the M1941 field jacket and wool trousers instead of the M1943 herringbone twill uniform. The first 6 poses in the set are reproductions of Airfix 1:32 scale US infantry wearing the M1943 herringbone twill jacket and trousers. The M1943 field jacket is longer and it has 4 rectangular front cargo pockets with pocket flaps, whereas the M1941 Parsons jacket had only 2 diagonal pockets without flaps. The M1943 field trousers did not have thigh pockets, but the M1943 herringbone twill trousers did. So this is what the infantrymen are wearing here, either in olive drab number 3 or the darker olive drab number 7. To add variety, we might remove the thigh pockets and give some of these figures M1943 field uniforms in olive drab number 7. Equipment is minimal. There are no haversacks, knapsacks, musette bags, assault gas mask bags, ammo bags, or ammunition bandoliers, which infantry landing on an enemy shore would have carried. What little equipment there is worn rather haphazardly. Some canteens are on the right hip, others on the left. The M1A1 bazooka in this set is an acceptable model of the real thing, but the gunner wears his pistol like a cowboy. The mistake may be fixed by removing the holster and attaching it behind the figure's left hip instead. Unfortunately, there's no Browning automatic rifle in this set, which would have allowed wargamers to raise complete infantry squads. Instead, we get a machine gunner from the weapons platoon of the infantry company, armed with the .30 caliber Browning M1919 A6 light machine gun on a bipod, which became available late in the war. This is a serious omission, calling for the conversion of a submachine gunner to a bar gunner. The crawling infantryman is a nice pose, but he has even less equipment than the others, even lacking a canteen. The other 7 poses in this set are sculpted differently. They are shorter and slimmer than the rest. The uniform is different too, and not very compatible with the M1943 uniform of the first 6 poses. At first glance, these newer poses appear to be wearing an army shirt tucked into the trousers. However, the collar on these supposed shirts is clearly that of the M1941 field jacket, which was short but not tucked. Since the collar is obviously wrong for an army shirt, it's probably best to give these figures M1941 Parsons jackets. The M1941 Parsons jacket was originally worn with wool trousers, without thigh pockets, so we are going to convert these. The equipment of the newer poses is a little better, but still not nearly complete for attacking infantry. We can only assume that these are troops on patrol or picket duty, not far from their camp or the main body of their unit. The sculpting is excellent, with perfect anatomy and very convincing poses of infantry engaged in a firefight. The figures are all wearing gaiters, which US Marines rarely wore into combat, so these must be US Army infantrymen, not Marines. There are too many carbines and submachine guns in this set, but only enough rifles for 1 rifle squad of the rifle platoon. The rubber boat in this set does not look like the LCR-S landing craft rubber small, even if it appears to be about the same size and carry the same number of troops. Perhaps it is the presence of a rubber boat that compelled Airfix to call these figures Marines, but they will be much more useful as the US Army Corps of Engineers. To backdate these figures, we only need to remove the thigh pockets from the M1943 herringbone twill trousers. Using the sharp blade of an X-Acto knife, the pockets are easily removed without much damage to the trousers. The conversion is so fast and easy that the 7 poses can be converted in 10 minutes or less. When we carve miniatures with a sharp blade, the sharp edges of these cuts tend to look like parallel creases when we paint the figures later. While this may work for wargame figures, we will want to hide these nicks and cuts by blending the material with a hot wax sculpting tool later. With our regulated soldering iron set to 7 on a scale of 10, we are now going to remove any nicks and cuts. The spatula is hot enough to melt the surface of the plastic so that we may sculpt the trousers properly. The sharp edges left by the scalpel are carefully brushed away, shaping the trousers to fit the thighs perfectly. We can also reconstruct any folds which may have been partially destroyed when we cut the pockets off. To do this, place the tip of the spatula into one of the folds and then extend the fold as needed. Notice that the spatula is just hot enough to melt and shape the plastic, but without lifting any plastic off in thin threads. Now we're ready to paint our converted US infantry in the earlier M1941 uniform worn in campaigns from North Africa to Italy and even Normandy in 1944. Thank you for watching. For more information, you're welcome to visit our website at miniatures.de.